Okay, so this is your winter makeup. It's not very hard, but there's lots of small steps that you have to do, and if you don't, like, this won't work. Like, it won't last, the glitter will fall off, it won't look this shiny. Like, you have to make sure that you follow every step that I give you, and you have to make sure that you have the products that I talk about. Because, I mean, for one, I'm not sure if any other product would work the way it did, so just make sure that you have the exact products that I'm talking about. And some of the products you already have from the fall season, so you're actually not really buying that much this season. You're just buying the lipstick color and then the stuff you need for all this. So, we're also going to require this season that you do your eyebrows, because this looks weird, like, when the glitter's on and, like, your eyebrow is not there. It ain't cute. So we're gonna have y'all fill them in. So make sure that y'all buy something from, like, you can just get something from the drugstore just to do that. You also need to wear foundation this season. I know that a lot of you say that you wear foundation, but you don't, and I know who doesn't. So you have to wear it because it kind of goes along with how this works. The foundation helps to really set it down and to really give it something to stick to. You also need blush. That's all we're requiring, just foundation, blush, and eyebrows as far as face makeup goes. It'll also help if you have the same sorts of brushes that I have. You don't have to have the same brand that I have, but at least the same shape. There are really good brands at the drugstore that they're really cheap. Like, you can buy an e.l.f. brush for like $3 or $1. So they're not very expensive. But if you don't have the brushes, like, doing all this is kind of difficult. The other thing is that when you do this for show, make sure that you do your makeup before you put on your uniform, and kind of try and maybe bring like a towel or like a washcloth or something to put like in your lap or on your shirt or whatever, so you don't get it dirty, unless you don't care. But you need to do this before you put on your costume, so make sure that you're paying attention so you can get this done really fast, so we're not rushing you. And then once you're putting on your costume, be careful that you don't, like, you know, scrape it across your face, because, I mean, you'll get glitter everywhere and then you'll ruin it and you have to start over. Make sure you leave your questions in the comment section. Don't text one of the captains or whoever. Like, ask the question so that I can answer it so everyone else can see as well, because if you have a question, then they probably have the same question. So let's go ahead and see how to get this. Alright, so I'm starting off with foundation. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. Another good one is the Maybelline Dream Matte Velvet. I have oily skin, so I like to use foundations that have matte finishes. If you have drier skin, you might want to use like the Pro Glow. I'm taking this and dotting it on my face first before I blend it out. Make sure if you use this foundation that you pay attention to how fast it dries, because if you don't blend it out fast enough, you're going to have these uneven colors on your face. Now I'm applying bronzer to my face. You don't have to do this. I just like to because I think that I look better when I do. We are requiring that you put on blush. I'm using the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in the shade, I think it's Rose Champagne. Make sure when you apply your blush that you do apply enough, like, to see. Okay, we need to apply performance blush, not everyday wear, so it's alright if it looks a little bit dark. That's kind of what we want, because we want it to be visible, especially because of what we're putting on the face. You're going to look washed out if you don't have any color. Now we're taking the NYX white base, the eyeshadow base, and I'm going to start dotting this in the shape that I want it. So this isn't going to be like a perfectly smooth curve on your face. It's going to be a little bit broken up and kind of looking almost splattered. Just kind of follow about the same shape that I'm doing, and then once you get down to your jaw, go ahead and make this little point just for just a little bit more definition on that jawline, and then pull it up to your ear. So make sure you follow your whole jaw. So as you can see that little point, that's kind of what we want at the bottom. Now I'm going to go ahead and start smoothing it out just for filling in purposes, and then make sure as you go along that you start kind of softening out those curves. You'll see that I start doing it as I go. Also, something I forgot to mention, I didn't apply blush or bronzer to the right side of my face. I only put it on the left. The right side is where I'm putting the white. Okay, that's the side that you need to do this as well. So make sure that this is on the right side of your face, and the left side of the face is where you will apply your blush. And then as you can see now, I'm just filling that whole space in. I'm just dotting it on and then finish rubbing it in. Make sure that you make this nice and smooth and it's an even coverage all the way around. Right here, as I was saying, I'm smoothing out that curve. I don't want it to be quite so pointed in. I want it to be a bit smoother. And then I'm just filling in like the parts that I don't have evenly filled. Now I'm going to take some makeup remover wipes. The ones that I use are the Pond's wipes. I like those. Those are the ones that I always use. They don't really break me out and they don't sting, and they're really nice on the eyes. But I'm taking them to kind of clean up my lines. Alright, I kind of want this more smooth and more flowy. So right there on my forehead it was kind of looking too straight. So I want to kind of start rubbing it away in places that I don't want it. And as you can see, I am rubbing off my foundation. Like, I have that red line on my face now. I'm just going to go ahead and fill that back in really quick. And then now you can see that it's a little bit more defined on my forehead. Now I'm taking this shade that you had for the fall, the L'Oreal Infallible shadow in the shade Eternal Sunshine. And I'm taking a shader brush. Alright, you need a brush like this, something that you can pack that color on. I'm going to take a bit of this, quite a lot, you'll see in a second, and I'm going to go ahead and place it and then start rubbing it in. Making sure that you pay attention to the edges, alright? The edges are the most important part because that's going to be the split between your skin and the gold. So as you see, I pick up a lot of product because the more product you pick up, the more you can spread out and the faster this will be. So as you can see, I placed first and then start rubbing in. This part is going to be the longest part, so make sure that as you're doing this, you're kind of focusing on what you're doing and getting it done, because if you start playing around and not paying attention to what you're doing, it will take you like an hour. So make sure that you kind of just move through this really quickly, but also make sure that you pay attention. Alright, we want this to look good. We want quality control because the glitter we put on top won't cover your whole entire face. So we do want this gold base so that we see gold throughout the entire half of your face. Quick note, when you're placing the product by your nose, make sure that you don't breathe in when you get to your nostril. I actually breathed in eyeshadow and it didn't feel good, so just be aware of that. Right here, that section down by your jaw is going to be the hardest section to finish because it's going to be the hardest to see, so make sure that you're thorough down there. So now as you can see, I have my makeup side and my golden side. We want that whole side of the gold to be nice and as even as possible. We want most of the white gone. Make sure that you're careful too because this eyeshadow does fall out everywhere. Now we're going to take the NYX Golden Glitter and I'm going to take it and put it in the cap. So it does take a while to get a lot out, so as you can see I'm kind of tapping it in there and I'm doing this for like, I don't know, a minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and you're going to take this glitter glue, not this one that I have, you're going to use the NYX glitter glue. You're going to go ahead and place it on the back of your hand, and then you're going to take two brushes, alright? They're going to be the same types of brush, but one is going to be for the glue and one is going to be for the glitter, alright? If we mix the two brushes, it's going to be a hot mess. So I'm going to take my glue brush and I'm going to take it and I'm going to start putting on that product, and then I'm going to rub it on my face. So make sure when you're doing this that you kind of do spread out this glue evenly. A little goes a long way. And you also want to make sure that you follow that order that I gave you. Okay, make sure that you put glitter in the cap and then you put the glue on your hand and then you apply the glue to your face and then you apply the glitter onto where you just put the glue. Make sure that you only put it where you laid down the glue because obviously the glue is what's going to keep it there. If you just start putting it all over your face without having applied glue at the bottom of it, it's just going to fall out everywhere and it's not going to stay. So make sure that you pay attention to where you've already put the glue, alright? Make sure you stay focused because obviously you can't see it, so just kind of be aware and remember. And then right here, just make sure that you're paying attention to the edges, alright? It's going to be even more important with the glitter than it was with the eyeshadow. And then the last tip I have is when you are actually putting the glitter on your face, make sure that you touch the glitter and place it onto your face and then start rubbing it on. If you just go in and start rubbing it first, you're going to get a lot of glitter falling everywhere. So make sure that you actually place it onto your face so it sticks and then spread it out by rubbing it in. Does that make sense? Make sure you're aware of that. Alright, now that I have the glitter applied, you can see that this is very bold and shiny, and there's a very big difference between both sides of my face. So you want to make sure that you're very thorough on what you're doing. Also be sure that you're wearing clothes that you don't really care about, because this glitter is going to get everywhere. So now I'm taking the white NYX eyeshadow base, and I'm going to start putting this onto my bottom lash line of the left side of my face. So as you can see, I'm kind of making a small little U that's kind of just following my eyes. And then I'm going to take that L'Oreal Infallible shade, and I'm going to take my shader brush again, and I'm going to go over that white with the gold, just like we did on the other side of the face. Now you're going to take this L'Oreal quad that you used during the fall. I think it's called Bleu Nuit. I can't say it, but you're going to take a fluffy crease brush, and you're going to go into that brown shade, and you're just going to take this into the crease and the outer V of your eye. We're not doing anything special. We're just kind of just placing this so that we have some sort of color on our eyes so we don't look washed out. Now we're going in with eyeliner. Again, it needs to be black and it needs to be liquid as always. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself a wing. For those of you who don't know how to do a wing, what I like to do is I just like to line my eye first, and then take a line with the black where the eyeshadow stops and my skin starts, drag that down to my lash line, and then I like to go back up to the top of the wing and pull down to my top lashes. And then from there, I just like to smooth everything out, because once you've done that first part, you basically have it done. You just need to make it look pretty afterwards. The key to a good wing is going slow and paying attention without getting frustrated. Now I'm taking a Pond's wipe, and I'm going to clean up this gold. My mistake here was that I made it a bit too rounded at the end. What we want is for this gold to come up to the wing so that it kind of is almost connected to it and gives it another pop. So as you can see, it's much more lifted now. So I'm going to have to go back in and fix it, right? So I'm taking the white eyeshadow base with a brush so that I can get a lot more close and defined. And I'm putting it just underneath the wing. I'm not covering up the wing. Then I'm going to go back into that gold shade, and I'm going to take the very edge of that brush and fill that in so it's all gold. And then now we're going to take the glitter, and we're going to do the same process we did before. I already have glitter in my cap, so I put the glue on my hand, took my glue brush, and I'm just going to fill in that gold with the glue on top. And then after I've done that, I'm going to take my glitter brush, and I'm going to place the glitter all along that gold. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my eyeliner again, and I'm going to basically clean up my wing because it did kind of get a little bit smudgy. We want that very sharp and defined, so all I'm doing is cleaning that up. And now we have this nice lifted, very, sharp and defined look. It looks like Nike, just do it. And then I'm going to take my eyeliner and put a wing on the eye with all the gold. Make sure that you pay attention because you want these to stay even. Now, as always, we're taking brown stick liner, and we're going to line our waterline for both of our eyes. Make sure that you do have brown. Black will not work because black smudges, and if you get black all over that gold that's going to be under your eyes, you're going to look nasty. Now I'm applying mascara to my top and bottom lashes, and then we're going to go ahead and fill in our brows. You can buy a pomade or a brow pencil from the drugstore. Nyx has really good brow products. The thing with eyebrows is that the hard part is knowing how hard to push down. So my advice is just go slow and steady and use a light hand, because it's easier to build up color than take it away, and we don't want crazy brows. So just make sure that you basically honestly fill in what you already have. Just kind of, fill in the lines, stay in the lines. The hard part is the part closest to your nose. That's where you want to use the lightest hand, because again, we don't want block eyebrows. We want them to be almost like, looking natural, so you kind of want it a little bit faded in the middle. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. For this brow, make sure that you use the same technique that you did on the other side of your face. I know that it's going to be a little bit weird because your eyebrow is going to feel really crunchy, and it's going to feel like you have to push hard to get down the pigment, but that's not the case. Just make sure you pay attention to where your hair is just as before, and just use the same technique and the same light hand as you go. Because if you don't, you can't really take it off, so don't make it dark. Now we're taking this NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Monte Carlo. It's a very pretty true red. It looks really good on most of y'all's skin tones. We're all kind of like this medium tan color. Just apply that all over your lips. And then this is your finished look. It's very bold, very pretty. So if you mess up or you don't do it right or it's sloppy, you can't hide it. So make sure that you do pay attention and that you follow the steps that I've given you in the order that I've given them to you. Make sure you stay tuned to the end so that you see the exact products and shades that you need.